of a necessity, a family drama is kind of claustrophobic because a family is self-contained. What did you bring from your family experiences to this role? And is that why your dad freaked out?
Oh, no, I think he just really wasn't expecting to see that. Like that a movie opens with me having sex in the woods is not like what everyone's betting on. My family is actually not a claustrophobic family at all. We're pretty open, and my parents have been together since high school, and they are sort of one entity. So I didn't have much to bring except for my fear of it falling apart, of how precious it was. And that's a good place to start, that the family environment is so precious and you think of it as something that is unchangeable, but it is in fact something that needs a lot of maintenance, especially as you grow into adulthood.
Abby?
Yeah, I did have a lot to draw from. My parents were divorced, or got divorced when I was in the 4th grade. So I felt like I was young enough then to feel like it's kind of how I grew up, like with my mom, and then she was in a relationship when I was, the next year, and so I kind of had a lot to draw from my own family, and also, I was 17 not very long ago, so I felt like I was still in high school in many ways.
Because of the title Landline, which is a term that a lot of people now don't even know what it means, young people, here's a sense of what it was like in 1995 when you didn't have the access to the world that you do now through social media and other media. What was it like to almost inhabit a different time? It was like the 17th century as far as communications were concerned, to make that realistic.
I mean, I grew up, I think I'm probably the last generation that grew up without internet in their house. Like when I applied to college, I still wrote it out, and I didn't get to apply online, and I'm not like an internet teenager, nor did I have a cell phone in college, just because like I wasn't allowed to have one. They existed, but no one gave one to me, so I didn't have one. But I think for me, the way that this family operates feels very natural to me as a human, which is that I want to connect face to face, and I want the rules of relationships to be, would you do that to me if I were standing in front of you? Which is something that, we don't really have that question floating around because of the internet. There's access all the time, but also a sense of entitlement paired with a sense of like privacy. Like, don't look on my phone, don't know my password, but the phone is a portal to everything. Like, that's a really unbalanced way to be. And the reason why the relationships in this movie break apart is because the balance is off. And that, like when there's an earthquake in California, there's like a little shut-off switch in your house. It's like a ball bearings that tips to tell you that your house is shaken, and you have to go and like flip the switch in order to turn your gas back on. And that's kind of like the delicate thing that happens in this family. It's like it goes off, and it feels like you have to pay real attention to how to fix it. And that to me feels like now kind of like an ancient thing that I wish people would do more.
How did Gillian Robespierre lead everybody through this experience and hold everybody together?
Well, first of all, I feel like I have to say that it is Gillian with a hard G.
I'm so sorry.
And I watch her in every interview always have to say it's Gillian with a hard G, and I know her mother, Judy, who's a lovely woman, but I don't understand why Judy did this to Gillian, because this is every time. And anyway, so just to say that her name is Gillian. And I think more than anyone on that set, it felt that, although the story in Landline is really a hybrid of experience that Elizabeth Holm and Gillian Robespierre both had. They're both women who whose parents got divorced when they were 16 and they lived in Manhattan. But the experience of really wanting to be kind of free in the 90s and coming into one's own in that Manhattan is Gillian's. So in all of the ways that you look to a director for guidance and for tone, we're also sort of plugging in deeper to ask her about her personal experience. And in that way, it's very dear and precious, and you're aware of her boundaries. And I think that circles back into a film that is about, bonds being broken.
But you didn't feel that she was making you be her.
No, I sometimes feel a little bit like I'm being a little bit of Gillian. I've worked with her 3 times now. Our first film was Obvious Child, and I'm definitely being much more of her than I am being myself, which is like a beautiful thing about being able to do art, is stepping into someone else's experience and honoring that.
Abby, what was it like for you?
Yeah,
Leadership.
Throughout time, like traveling with Gillian and Jenny and Liz, just throughout all the screenings, I've found out how much of it is actually based on real events, and that was nothing that Gillian or Liz really pushed on us. It was kind of like, here's the script, this is the story, and you can create the character however you want to. I didn't think she ever pushed anything on us or had anything like that was wrong with our performances. So yeah, she gave us a lot of freedom, but I did feel like that this is Gillian as a teenager. I saw a couple of photos too, and I was like, this makes total sense, the way that I'm dressed. A lot of it was similar.
Well, thank you both for that, and please thank Jenny Slate and Abby Quinn.